Alright, welcome back, guys. In this video, we're going to be tackling the dire wolves. I'm just, real quick, what we're going to do first, for the first step is we're going to do a dry brush, a kind of heavy dry brush, not super heavy, a dry brush of Incubi Darkness, because we're going for kind of a blue-black, kind of like what we did with Belladama a while back. So as you can see, this is the texture or the amount of paint I wanted on the brush. This was way too much. That's really heavy. That is really heavy. At that point, you might as well just be using a regular old brush and just be hand brushing this all on. So what we're going to do is we're going to lightly, because Incubi is a rather strong color, we're going to lightly dry brush this all over. And I'm actually going to try to not, well, actually, we can hit the crow a little bit. I want to do the crow with a little bit more purple tone to him as well. I want to make the crow look almost oily. These crows are very dirty. Dirty little scavengers. We're just going to go ahead, we're going to dry brush the fur, the flesh, just dry brush the whole model. Try and, like on this model, the entire upper skull is revealed. There's no skin on it, anything. So try and leave that black. Alright. So now we're coming to Storm Vermin Fur. And I'm not even going to bother showing you how much paint is on my thumb. I can barely see it, which is good because all we're doing is going to be a really light dry brush. We're going to highlight the fur and give it kind of a dirtier gray texture to kind of help make it look more like dead fur. Because I don't know if you guys have ever, if you have dogs, you'll notice this. Even when dog's fully healthy, when the fur comes off, it's often gray or like a silvery color. So we're going to come in with Storm Vermin Fur. We're going to just kind of gray, give a gray touch up just to the fur. If you want, you can hit the skin. So as usual, now we're going to come in and we're going to base the bone with Doombolt Brown. Surely the one thing from model to model that is truly consistent for my army. Because on Belladama, she's going to be really clean, especially compared to my Graveguard. Actually, Belladama, now that I think about it, she won't even... Closest thing to bone on her are the little claws, which are not a defining detail. So that'll be interesting. Doombolt Brown is nice and dry. Now we're going to come in with Xantry Dust as usual. Hi, my pee. Excuse me. Wow. Alright. Back to what I was saying. Now we're going to come in with Xantry Dust. And just like the last two videos, come in and layer this pretty much all over. I will leave like little towards the edges of the skull. I like. All right, now we're gonna do our last step on the crow. It's already got a little Incubi Darkness on there. I just want to add a different tone. So this is Nagarov Night. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a kind of oily look to the feathers. And we're just going to lightly do little hints of purple. And this is honestly the first time I'm doing this, so hopefully it gets the effect I'm going for. It's a bit too much purple there. And if it doesn't, I'm not super worried about it. I just don't want to leave it black. Because plain old black is boring. It's only when you highlight it, whether it's with grays, greens, blues, purples, yellows. I mean, you can highlight black however you want. It just depends on the light it's bouncing off of, for in this case, you know, it's oily, so it's just going to get a couple different colors. But I'm gonna leave the crow there. And now we just have to do the flesh on this guy, and he doesn't have eyes. So actually, let me talk about the eyes real quick. So on the other direwolves, doesn't matter if it's exposed, if it's an exposed eyeball, or if it's still fully in its skull. What I like to do is I will take Warpstone Glow, and I'll base the entire eye in that. And then I will dot the pupils with Moot Green. As simple as that. And it gives it a nice kind of resurrected look. So yeah, I'll see you guys when we paint the flesh. Okay. As for the flesh, I mentioned this earlier, we're going to do basically a wash with Gravelords Red. So I put in, I actually lost count of how many drops of water I used, but this is just to kind of base any areas that is exposed flesh or muscle tissue, the whatever. Oh, I don't need that all over the crow. Some on him actually wouldn't be too bad. If I had blood for the blood god, that would be what I would put on this and the crow, but I don't have that, unfortunately. And when I go to the Warhammer store tomorrow, it'll be too late to buy paints for that. I'll be there to play. So we're going to stick with this. And we're just going to give everything a nice little wash. Gravelords Red. In the scheme of things, it probably won't matter on these intestines here. It's really more on for the direwolves that have the exposed rib cage. Because this way we can add this into the recesses, and then we'll still have of course, the rib cage done in our bone scheme that we've been doing all these guys in. So just go ahead, just dot it so thin it just immediately goes into the recesses. Doesn't really stick anything. And then I'm also gonna put it up here because there's a little bit of torn flesh right around his jaw. So I'm just gonna give that some of that. All right, so that's all that. So I'm gonna let that sit and dry for a good while. It shouldn't take too long to dry. But while this is drying, I'm gonna start the video for Belladama. So I'll see you when this is dry, and we'll continue onwards. Alright, so let's handle these open wounds real quick. So right now this is Screamer Pink, and I just want to paint raised areas of this exposed muscle. And I didn't think my paint was this thin, but it is very thin apparently. It's not quite a glaze consistency, but it's close. And actually, it's working out. This was a complete accident, and I'm liking it. Yeah, it's a little thin, but it makes it easier to notice the Gravelords wash that we did. Now, I'm not gonna go and do every single area. So like these little tiny areas where there isn't really any raised flesh, I'm going to leave. Alright. This is actually probably bone right here, but we can paint it however we want. It's your model. If you want it to be bone, paint it bone. If you want it to be flesh, paint it flesh. It's that simple. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's just like this is, I'm not really sure. This series is kind of a how-to. It's how I'm painting my army. But it's also, you know, if you don't agree with how I'm painting any of these troops, you don't have to. It's the beauty of it. It's how I want my guys to look, but it might not be how you want yours to look. So you don't have to do it exactly how I do it. You don't have to do it how I do it at all. It's all personal preference. That's why they come blank. If they had to be a certain way, no matter what, they might as well sell them painted. But they don't. So we can do whatever the hell we want with them. Alright. And there's our direwolf. I'm going to put him off to the side. I've been filming Belladama Volgas pretty much simultaneously as this guy. She's almost done. This guy will be coming out first. I'm not sure the date. But this guy will be first, then Belladama will come out. And then the Black Knight will be coming out before this guy. So if you're watching this in the future, you already know that. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.